Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about Dungeons and Dragons, which is one of my favorite games. And it was Dungeons and Dragons Online specifically. It's a little bit complex. Is that it? There we go. It's a little bit complex getting started, but today I'm going to run you through the process of how to get started, and it's very simple. Very simple. What we're going to do, you're obviously not going to have any characters at the start, so you're going to hit Create, and you're going to start with a character. And right here, it already might get complex. If you're a starting player, ignore iconic. What iconic means is that you start off with characters that are level 15 in the game, and it's like a quick boost to higher level content if you haven't played that higher level content yet, or if you played a lot, you played a lot of the low levels, don't worry about it. What we're going to look at today is melee, spell, and specialist. Um, they give you a little description here. You can read it in your own time. You can sort of decide what one you want to pick. But I'm just going to say you'll find out what you want to pick when you want to pick it. So let's make one of the simplest ones, I would say, or one of the most straightforward. Probably a barbarian. They get angry, they hit stuff hard. One more thing I want to say. You're probably not going to have all the unlocked things that I have. I'm going to talk about that later. Right here, you have the three different options as to how to build your character, and then you have the customize. Now, the other ones, I've actually personally never done them, but I like a little bit more customization with my characters. So I'm going to show you how to customize it today, but you don't have to pick it, and that might take out some choices later, and you won't have to worry about them. They'll be good choices. Oops, skip the screen. All right, so you'll notice, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing on the left, and that's the order of which things are going to go. Then the last thing we have is the different races. So we've had class back here, we've had style before class, we've got path, and now we've got race. For now, I'll just make human to make things simple, but also not really simple because humans are a little bit more complex. And if you want to get into the nitty gritties, you can click on more info. Some characters get different things. But really, unless you know what you're doing, don't worry about it. Just pick something that's good. Just pick something that works. You'll be fine. But yes, it's there. You can see it if you want to see it. Then we get to here. Now, some of you might recognize this, some might not. This is a point buy system, and you will have 28 points at the start of the game. Now, I have 32 because I played the game a little bit more, and again, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but don't worry for now. Essentially, you use your points at the top to buy strength or dex or con or whatnot. And on the right side here, it says what each of the stats sort of does for your class. This mistakenly says I have 28 points, actually I have 32 points. And yeah, it says the ones that are good for your class usually, but there's some more nitty gritties. Don't worry about it. Just think about your character and be like, I want to be really strong, put lots of points in strength. I want to be really healthy as well. Not too healthy. I want to be a little bit stronger than healthy. I want to be dexterous. I don't know. Maybe he's not a dumb barbarian, but he's got a bit of brains, and he's a little bit wise as well. Now, again, I'm just running over this really quickly. You can go more into nitty gritties with this. You can create a build. That's not for today. Right now, we're just thinking about a character and what they might be like. The next screen we have, and of course, you're welcome to take breaks and pauses here, because this process can take some time to do. It's not something that should be rushed through as fast as I'm doing it right now. So we have points, which give you different skills. Some of these are active skills, and some of these are passive skills. So, like listening is a passive skill, jumping is a passive skill. Um, you'll always jump higher when you have this ability higher. Intimidate is a active skill. You press it, you intimidate people who are nearby you. And again, you can read all these abilities in your own time. But right now, I'm just going to pick, it would be an intimidating barbarian. He'll jump high. He's good at listening. He's good at swimming. This is where we get a little bit more complex. You see the points, you go up to 4 on first level, and every level after that you can put another point in each of those ones. But these ones with a little asterisk next to it, they only give you half because they're not class skills. It says down here, cross-class skills cost twice as much to train. So when we put 1 point in, we get half a point, another half point, another half point, another half point, and then we can't put any more. So we've effectively only put in 2, we've lost 4 points. Relevant for some classes, not for others. I'll do the rest. Spot, tumble is a fun one. Now, tumble and use a magic device are slightly more complex because if you don't put a point in these, you don't get to be able to use them. Same with perform. I think there's a few others as well, but they're usually not displayed. So, yeah, we're going to do tumble. The next screen, we have feats. Now, feats, sometimes you'll have special feats, and you click here, and it comes up with your special feats for your class only. But today we don't have any. We've got a regular feat at the start, every character gets it, and then we get a bonus feat because we're a human. So, again, not going to go into builds today, but I'm just going to pick things that sound like what a barbarian would use. Maybe they're fortuitous. I don't know. This is a page to assess all of our decisions. And you'll see here, these are some of the passive decisions that happen in the background. So because we're barbarian, we get barbarian feats. We get basic feats that everyone gets. We got the feats that we just chose, the two-handed fighting, and the defensive feat we just chose. Another one that everyone gets. 2 that most martial classes get. And then proficiencies, which is relevant. Now, this is our character, and we can choose however they want to look like, but I'll leave that up to you. Let's stop in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, not too bad. I change it to you'll have white hair. And a name. Right, so that's the name part. The last part, which is your final decision, that's slightly important, is your alignment. Because I'm a barbarian, I can't choose the lawful alignments. So there's 2 more lawful ones. There's lawful good and there's lawful neutral. Again, relevant for your character, and it will limit your choices later on in the game. I'm going to go true neutral because this guy looks like one of the neutral people from Futurama. Okay, we've got a character. We'll go in, say loading screen, and we're currently in a spot where it's completely different from what you're used to. But I'm going to go through. Now, I'm not going to show you where you'll regularly spawn, because that's going to have a bunch of tutorials that are useful for you on how to play the game. But today I'm teaching how to build a character. This is probably going to overwhelm some of you right now. Okay, let's start at level 4. Again, most of you aren't going to have these options, so I'm just going to quickly go through them. We're just going to make a level 4 Barbarian. Now, same thing. Again, we've just leveled up, talking to this lady. She's given us the experience somehow. Don't want to know. On how to level up. And we can just click on the ones that we chose before, or you can choose to get something new. Maybe we'll get Perform this time. Don't get Perform, unless you're a bard. You can't use it. Alright, I sort of clicked through the end back then, but I'll do it again for you. So ignore all this conversation, because you'll never see this. So we've got, again, the skills. Click on the skills that we want. We've got the points at the top. We've got the asterisks next to the ones that are not skills that we can use a lot. Then we go next. Then we get a feat. We're effectively level 3 now. And I'm just going to choose one of the dragon marks. Dragon marks are pretty cool. So I'm going to take Dragon Mark of Making. This screen, again, is just the final screen. Shows you all the things that are going on in the background. You know, I might get extra things for being a barbarian. So in this case, I get saves against traps. I get Wilderness Law. And yeah, all the things I picked. I also get reflex saves and whatnot. Don't worry about those. I'm saying don't worry about it a lot. And just don't. Because you'll overload your head for now. Alright, last thing. For a barbarian, every 4 levels you get to increase one of your stats. So I'm going to say again, strength, strong. That's what we're going for. Stats. And there's one more thing I wanted to show you. There's a little bit of complexion in how you choose your stats to level up. So you can put more than 4 points in if, say, you haven't put any points in it for a long time. So I can actually put 5 points in Bluff. In fact, I can put all my points in Bluff. And that is based on how many levels you've not put a point in to Bluff. So say you've done 5 levels where you haven't put a point into Bluff, you can do, I think, 4 plus 5 points into Bluff. A little bit of a nitty-gritty, don't worry. Final screen, get some extra feats. We'll go over those in a second, but don't worry. Okay, not going to talk to her for a while. Now, here's kind of the annoying thing. The UI is sometimes a bit annoying depending on your resolution. Bit of an old game, and I've heard they're updating the UI soon. But just a few seconds, and you'll have a nice UI. Now, what you can do with the character, as you can see, you've got all these like tabs down here. We're not going to use all of them, so don't be afraid. But I'm just going to go over quickly. This is your stats. We know most of these. We know your your con and all that. We don't know all of these, what they mean, but we know that the higher the number, the better. So just know that. There's your skills you had. And by the way, I get to this by pressing C. That button. There's your skills, and they might be relevant. You can pull them out as well. So if I find stealth, just one I haven't put anything into. Do I even have stealth? I don't think I have stealth. I don't have stealth. I have search. I've already got search down there, but I can pull search down. I can't pull spellcraft down because you see it's got that shape. That shape means it is a passive ability. It's passive. This one's active. So you can pull this. This one's active, but we don't actually have it. Not applicable. This one we can take down. But we're not focusing on those. Your feats you might have. I'm going to go to these in a second. Your spells, your enhancements, and this is crafting, but you won't do crafting if you're new at the game. Not for a long time. And don't worry about it. Alright, so feats. So these are all the feats, and you can drag them all down. You can take the time to do that. If you're playing through the game nice and slowly, you'll know when you're getting your feats and what they are. For example, that dragon mark we picked up earlier might be relevant, by the way. We have a dragon mark on our face now. You can turn that off somewhere. I think it's in the options. You'll probably have to Google it for me. Alright, so feats, important things. There are passive ones and there are active ones. As I said, the square, active, the other shape, hexagon, I think. No, that can't be hexagon. Octagon is, well, passive. So all these proficiencies, passive. Uncanny dodge, which is a new feat we got at the end. Not. Okay, I'm hoping I haven't lost you right now. So, we've got these feats. We might use them. By the way, if you click on them, that's when you do them. So this is my rage. Gets very angry. Does things. This is the last thing. Ooh, now this screen alone, I was afraid it was going to scare some of you. And it probably will. The thing is, you're not going to be going into the screen like I am right now. You're going to be going into the screen much slowly. You're not going to have 12 points. You're going to have 1 point at the very start. Actually, you're going to have 0. You get 1 point later. The way you get into the screen, there's a shortcut for it, but I'll just show you. So down here in the corner, let me just see. Are we getting that? Yep. You're down here in the corner. You have the different sheets and whatnot for your character. And character sheet is this one. The enhancements is this one. Those are the 2 that you need to know. All the rest, Epic Destinies does not apply to you. Inventory applies, but not for today. Social and whatnot. Yeah, they all matter, but not right now. So back to enhancements. By the way, the shortcut is Control plus R. So we have a whole bunch of enhancements, and the way these work is they start at the bottom. These are your core enhancements, and the enhancements are restricted by this border. So we have the Frenzied Berserker tree, which is Barbarian, the Occult Slayer, and the Ravager. And these wordings are similar to those 3 different playstyles we saw earlier in the character creation. And I believe if you pick one of them, it focuses and automatically assorts the points for you. But I'm going to go into the more nitty gritty of the points. So you can go ahead and you can read these. There might be things you might be interested in. I'm just going to pick this one for now. This gives me the Die Hard feat. Lets me automatically stabilize when I'm incapacitated. It's pretty good. You'll find out what incapacitation is soon enough, if you don't know, just by playing. And then, now that we've done that, we get 5 different options. Now, you can read those options, and you probably should. But I'm just going to pick these quickly and show you what happens when I've got the 5th one. See, when I got the 5th one here, it upgrades to the next level. So, the 2nd tier up there not only requires Barbarian level 2, but it requires 5 points spent specifically in this tree. So this is a tree, this whole thing. I hope you can see my cursor. I don't think you can see my cursor. Oh, you can. That's good. Okay. That saves a lot of editing later on. So when we get the 5th point in the tree, and by the way, the core one down here counts as one of the points. Oh, and some of them cost more than 1 point. You'll have to be careful on that. So see the action point cost? That will say how much it costs. But when we get that, we get upgraded to the next level. So we get this, which is the next core, which is usually the one you want. So you usually want to get that first. But then you get the next ones that are up here. And you realize that this one just here isn't activated. We can't get it. And the reason is because of the arrow. Some of you might have noticed that before. So if you get that, we can unlock it. Sometimes just getting 1 level in this unlocks all the levels here. But in this case, we need to get every single one to get that. Now, I'll take all the points out of there. And we're just going to go pick that one. Alright, so now we've got 10 points, and this is the next threshold. You notice we don't have this. So if we go back, the requirement to this is 10 points. Same as the 3rd tier here. 10 points there, 10 points there. The reason why we don't have it is I'm not Barbarian level 6. So you got to read that fine print. If you don't like reading, probably not the game for you. Alright. So now we've got this 3rd tier stuff, and this 3rd tier stuff is, again, probably better. And this one over here isn't unlocked because we haven't gotten this one down here. But this one here, you'd be like, well, that arrow is pointing to it. It's where I get complex. You need all the arrows pointing to it. So you need to get this one, so you can unlock this. Yeah, I'll take that one. That's nice. Okay. So that's enhancements. That's how you do it. Your build is up to you. You got to do some reading. But I would recommend just picking one tree and sticking with it, making mistakes, going through, not stressing. You're probably going to be playing with a lot of people who are going to be like, hey, I don't have this amount of HP. You're a noob. And you'd be right. Or they'd be right. You are probably a noob. But you need to tell them that they need to bugger off. Or ask them for help. Now again, just ignore this stuff because this is in the background. But these are some of the items you might get in-game. So there are capes. There's other head doodangs. That can all be for another day. So, again, don't worry too much about this stuff because you're going to have your own adventure when you step into the game, and you're going to get items, and you're going to be able to fill out the items and whatnot. And we'll go over that in another video. But here, I'm just going to take an axe, because axes are cool. Equip it. And yeah, you'll see that my feet engage because I'm fighting with 2 weapons now. And that is pretty much it. That's how you make a build. You don't really need to know anything more. You know, you've got the skills, you put them in here, you get the feats. Might want to drag them down there if you don't already have them. You can have multiple if you want. You've got spells if you're playing a spell character, so you need to maybe go to a tavern, maybe already pick them. Again, it's dependent on the class. Enhancements? Yeah, that's one thing we almost missed. Once you pick the enhancements, you need to go there, you need to drag them in if they're abilities. So you see up here, nice and handy, active. These ones down here, not active. And then we can activate those skills. So that's a cleave, this is a run super fast. Although it's not really that fast, honestly. And this is a sacrifice yourself to get more health. Look at that, 250 health. That will tell all those pro players. That's it. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know in the comments. So again, just reiterating, Control plus R gets you to the enhancement page, and this is where you do a lot of the things in the game. Pressing C will get you to this, and you can go to your feats. You need to go to your feats and drag them out. You can have a summary of your character. Again, higher number, probably better. And skills. The higher the number, the better it is. There's thresholds with this, so like I think most of them are about 30, but some aren't. But really, worry about that stuff when it starts to matter. Right now, you probably just want to get in. You probably just want to hit some stuff like a barbarian does. Run real fast, sacrifice yourself to the gods, and spin around in a circle. Sounds good to me. Alright, thanks. See ya.